All right, guys, in this video, we're going to go over a bunch of multiple choice and free response questions for Unit 5. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel as I'll be posting more and more videos. Also, in this video, I'm going to show you different techniques for how to solve calculator-based questions using Desmos. Let's jump in. What is the value of x at which the max value of y occurs on the closed interval 0 to 4? So this is a candidate's test problem. First thing we want to do is identify the critical numbers. So we set the derivative equal to 0 and then factor. And the critical numbers are x equals 5 halves and x equals 3 halves. Second, you want to evaluate the function at the endpoints and critical points on the interval. F of 0 is 0. F of 3 halves is 9. F of 5 halves is 25 thirds. And F of 4 is 52 thirds. Third thing is identify which one is the largest of those. So that's the max. And that occurs at the x value of 4. The table above gives selected values for the twice differentiable function f. In which of the following intervals must there be a number c such that f prime of c equals -2? So this is an application of the mean value theorem, which says that f prime of c is equal to the average rate of change over an interval. This is the instantaneous rate of change, which is -2. So that means the average rate of change over the interval would have to be -2. From 0 to 2, the change is negative, it goes down 2, but the x change is also 2, so this is +2, -2, so the average rate would be just -1. From 2 to 4, the change in x is 2, the change in y is -4, so that rate of change is -2. Just to check, 4 to 6, the change is positive here, so that's not going to be the answer. And from 6 to 8, you went up 2 and down 2, so the average rate there is -1 also. So the correct answer is B. So here we have a function f. On what interval or intervals is f concave down? So we need the second derivative and to figure out where it is negative. So the first derivative and the second derivative, set that equal to 0, solve for x, and that simplifies to 2/3. So I set up my sign chart. There's 2/3. Pick a number before and after it. So I would pick 0 and 1. The second derivative at 0 is negative. So it's concave down. But we also have to check after 2/3. So at 1, if you plug in 1, the second derivative is going to be positive. So I know the function is concave down for -infinity to 2/3. Choice C. So here we have a function g. We want to know what the minimum value of the function on the closed interval -2 to 1. Again, another candidate's test question. So the first thing we want to do is find the critical numbers. That's when the derivative is 0 or undefined. So the first derivative, set that equal to 0. The second step, we want to evaluate the function at the endpoints and critical values that are on the interval. G of -2 is 7. G of -1 is 3. And g of 1 is 7. But it wants to know what is the minimum value. The minimum value is 3, choice C. So be careful here. The one we did previously was asking for the x value. This one is asking for the actual value. So here we have the graph of g prime. Pay close attention to which function they are giving you the graph of. It's the graph of g prime, the derivative of g on the closed interval -2 to 4. We want to know when is g decreasing. It's decreasing when g prime is less than 0. So that would be on the interval 0 to 2 and from 2 to 4. But since the function is differentiable for all those values, we know the original function is continuous for all those values, so we can include the endpoints at 0, 2, and 4, giving us the closed interval 0 to 4. So you'll notice this is a calculator allowed question. However, we don't always need to use the calculator in calculator allowed questions. Here, the table gives values of differentiable function f at selected x values. Based on the table, which of the following statements about f could be false? So be careful, it could be false. Notice the function is differentiable, which means it's also continuous. So we know it satisfies the conditions of the mean value theorem, the extreme value theorem, and the intermediate value theorem. So let's look at statement A. there exists a value c where c is between -5 and 3 such that f of c equals 1. Well, that must be true because the y value goes from 4 to -2, and since the function is continuous, the intermediate value theorem guarantees that the y value is going to hit 1. Part B, there exists a c such that f prime of c equals 1. So this is the mean value theorem, and we just have to check to see if any of the intervals yield an average rate of change of +1. So from -5 to 0, we go 5, and from 6 to 4 is -2. So that would be a rate of change of -2/5. From 0 to 3 is a change of 3, and from 4 to -2 is a change of -6. That would be an average rate of change of -2. And then if we go the entire interval from -5 to 3, that's a change of 8. And from 6 to -2 is a change of -8, which would be a change of -1. So that actually verifies the last choice as having to be true by the mean value theorem. B could be false. We don't know if it has to be true or not, but it could be false. In part C, we didn't check that. There exists a value C where C is between -5 and 3, such that f of C equals -1. Again, intermediate value theorem, since the y values go from 4 to -2, they have to pass through -1. So choice B here. Here's another question from a calculator allowed portion where the calculator is not necessary. The graph of the differentiable function f is shown. Which of the following is true? Here we have the graph of f, but we don't have a function, but we're relating the values of the original function, derivative, and second derivative at x equals 1. So we know a couple things. We know f of 1 is equal to 0 because it's an x-intercept. What we do know about f prime of 1 is that it's got to be negative since the function is decreasing. And since the graph is concave up, particularly at 1, we know the second derivative is positive. So we just have to put those in order. The first derivative is negative, the original function is 0, and the second derivative is positive. Choice B. All right, so we got our first calculator allowed question where you have to use the calculator. You have the function f is the antiderivative of the function g defined by g of x. Which of the following is the x-coordinate of the location of the relative max for the graph of f? Well, since f is an antiderivative, that means g is the derivative of f. So we can go to Desmos and graph g. Since we have the graph of g, we just need to figure out where g changes from positive to negative, because a relative max occurs where the derivative changes from positive to negative. That would be right here at this point. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see that it changes from positive to negative right here. We can copy that to our menu there and see that the answer is 1.311 or 1.312, choice A. All right, so another calculator allowed question that you don't really need the calculator on. G is differentiable, G prime is positive, G double prime is negative for all values of x. It's known that G of 3 is 2, G of 4 is 7. Which of the following is a possible value for G of 5? Couple things here. Since G prime is positive, we know the function is increasing, but since the second derivative is negative, we know it's concave down. So if we look at just drawing a picture, at 3, the y value is 2, and at 4, the y value is 7. We want to know what would be a possible value of 5. We know that the graph is increasing, but concave down, so it's curving downward. What this also implies is that the change from 4 to 5 has to be less than the average rate of change from 3 to 4. So if I look at the secant line from 3 to 4, that gives me an average rate of change of 7 minus 2 over 4 minus 3, which would be 5. So if I go one more unit to the right, that means I have to go less than 5 units up. So if I'm currently at 7, if I add 5 to that, you would get 12. We know that the value of g of 5 has to be less than 12. Only choice A. The function f is continuous on the closed interval -2 to 2. The graph of f prime, its derivative is shown. So be very careful here. We know that we have the graph of the derivative. On which intervals is f increasing? So be careful. They're asking you questions about f given you the graph of f prime. F is going to be increasing when the first derivative is positive. That's namely between 0 and 2. So we can include the endpoints since f is continuous. Choice C. Okay, now here is a free response question where you're allowed to use the calculator. You have the function f and g. Let d be the vertical distance between the two functions. Find the rate of change of d at x equals 2.5. So the first thing we're going to do is graph both of these functions in Desmos. Then we'll adjust the viewing window to focus in on the area that's graphed. And then since this is a free response question, we do have to write down how we define d. D is equal to the vertical distance between the two functions. Now, if we look at 2.5 on the graph, I'm just going to put a line there at 2.5. You can see that the top function is g of x and the bottom function is f of x. So I'm going to define d as g of x minus f of x. Then I'm going to enter that into Desmos. And then to get the rate of change of d at 2.5, I could just use prime notation here. Now for the work, you would want to write d prime of 2.5 equals, and then your answer, rounded to 3 decimal places or chopped off. Now, an alternative way to do this is to define d as the absolute value of f minus g, because notice the functions change which one's on the top and which one's on the bottom. So the subtraction is going to be different based on where you are in the graph. So if I define it as the absolute value of the difference and still use the prime notation, you still get the same answer. Also, if we look at 2.5, this graph is decreasing, this graph is increasing. So the two graphs at that moment are getting further away from each other. So that means the rate of change of the distance between them is positive. So we know our answer is at least reasonable. So here we go. An apple pie cools on a kitchen counter. The function f models the temperature of the pie in degrees Fahrenheit at time t minutes. When the pie was placed on the counter, its temperature was 270 degrees. The function y equals f satisfies the differential equation dy dt. Use the line tangent to the graph of y at t equals 0 to approximate the temperature of the pie at 10 minutes. So here's what we know. When the pie was placed on the counter, its temperature was 270 degrees. That implies the point 0, 270. Then we need the derivative evaluated at that point. And that's going to come out to -10. That is the slope or the rate of change. So now we can write the equation of the tangent line and then use that to approximate the value of the function at 10 minutes. So a couple things. Notice I'm used the wavy equal sign to indicate that this is the approximate, not exact value, and I'm going to put the units on my answer. So that's part A. Part B, you want to find the second derivative in terms of y, and then we'll get to that second part. So the second derivative, we're going to differentiate the first derivative. So we have a constant times the derivative of y minus 70, which would be dy dt. We could back substitute what dy dt is there, and then we could clean that up a little bit. So there's a second derivative in terms of y, and we want to use that second derivative to explain whether the graph of f could resemble the following graph. Notice a couple things about this graph. First, the graph is decreasing but concave down. Because y starts off at the function, because this graph is concave down, but the second derivative is positive, implying concave up. Here's another one. Notice first off that the graph they give you is the graph of f prime. The figure above represents the function f prime, the derivative of f over the interval -4 to 6, and satisfies f of 4 equals 2. The graph of f prime consists of 3 line segments and a semicircle. On what intervals is f decreasing and concave up? Justify your answer. So this is very important. We know a function is going to be decreasing when f prime is negative and concave up when the second derivative is positive. So we can see that the derivative is negative between x equals 0 and x equals 4. To get the second derivative from the first derivative, the second derivative is the rate of change of the first derivative. So if the second derivative is positive, that means f prime is increasing. Well, that occurs on this interval right here from 1 to 4. That's where the second derivative is positive and the first derivative is negative. So we would say f is decreasing and concave up on the interval 1 to 4 because f prime is negative and increasing. Next, we want to state all x values where f has a horizontal tangent on the open interval -4 to 6. Explain whether f has a relative minimum, relative maximum, or neither at each of those x values. We're going to have a horizontal tangent when the derivative is equal to 0. In between the points -4 and 6, that would occur at x equals 0 and at x equals 4. And x equals 0 is a relative maximum because f changes from positive to negative there. And at x equals 4, f has a relative minimum because f prime changes from negative to positive. Consider the curve given by the equation 2 times the quantity x plus y equals 5 sine y. Part A, show that dy dx equals 2 over -2 plus 5 cosine y. So we're going to take the derivative with respect to x of the entire equation. So that would be 2 times 1 plus dy dx equals 5 times cosine y times dy dx. Then we distribute the 2 and subtract the 5 cosine y dy dx to the other side. Then we're going to factor out the dy dx from these two terms and subtract the 2 to the other side. And then last, solve for dy dx. So for part B, we want to determine the concavity for the curve at all points between pi and 3 pi over 2 for y. So to get the second derivative, we're going to take the derivative with respect to x. I'm going to rewrite dy dx as 2 times the quantity to the -1 power. This way I can use the general power rule. The 1's going to come down, multiply the 2, and the quantity is going to be to the -2 power, times the derivative of the inside. The derivative of the -2 inside is 0, so this would be -5 sine y dy dx. Then I'm going to drop that other quantity to the denominator and back substitute the dy dx. And then multiply that all together. This ratio will always be positive because the numerator is going to be negative and the denominator is going to be negative on the interval pi to 3 pi over 2. So the curve is concave up on this interval. All right, guys, hope that was a helpful review of Unit 5 multiple choice and free response questions. If so, give this video a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel as I'll be pumping out more and more videos.